The NCAA Tournament Bracket Reaction Show on the College Basketball Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our free bracket challenge. $2,000 goes to the winner. Enter today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. And it is showtime. What's going on, everybody? My name is Noah Bieniek, and I'm joined alongside some of the stars of the pregame show and the host of said pregame show. Starting off with Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac. What's going on, my man?
Corruption. What the hell else you want me to say? Clown show.
Oh, that might have been the saddest Mac tonight of the entire season. And then the two stars of the pregame show that we want to introduce for this bracket reaction show. Let's start off with the one and only cannabis capper, Matt Dewoskin. How we doing, man?
Doing well, Noah. I'm sorry, Noah. Good to be here. Good to be back. I missed doing the pregame shows this past week, but with the schedule was impossible. So, we got bracket reactions. I'm fired up for it. Let's go.
And lastly, on today's show is Michael Huffer. Huff, what's going on?
Yeah, I'll echo some sentiments from Mr. Moneyline Mac over there, and Cap. Missed doing the pregame show. It was a hell of a season. So,
alrighty, we're not gonna waste any time of this. We are probably gonna talk about this for a few minutes here. Right off the bat, we got to touch on it. The first team left out of the field was the West Virginia Mountaineers. Moneyline Mac's alma mater. He was former staffer under Hugs there. Mac, what the hell happened?
It's a great question. I would say, to sum it up, man, this is a loss for college basketball fans and those of us that actually cover the sport all the way from November 5th and on. The committee told us, specifically the chair, that the games don't fucking matter. They don't matter. You can't put a team that's got one quad one in over a team that's got six. 6 quad one wins, no bad losses. One at the Fog, beat Iowa State, 10 Big 12 wins. They're not even a bubble team, for God's sake, yet alone that they're out. They're not even a bubble team. And for them to crowbar this UNC bullshit is a travesty. And Xavier, too. And I knew they would throw Texas in there because of the SEC brand. And you know what's even worse, Noah? And I knew they were going to do this. And you text me. They were going to run with the Tucker DeVries angle. I knew they were going to do this. And they are so lazy. And so it's so false. Tucker DeVries has not played a game since Atlantis. That is Thanksgiving. That was 4 goddamn months ago. Since then, they have 4 top 20 wins. That's 4 times as much as North Carolina and Xavier. Are you shitting me? At least don't lie to my fucking face. At least just say, you know what? We're putting North Carolina in because they're the University of North Carolina. Michael Jordan played there. Bill Belichick coaches there. And I'm the AD of North Carolina. And I'm putting my team in. At least I would say, you know what? They're going to own up to their corruption. This is bullshit. Everybody in this chat knows it. Even North Carolina fans know it. Xavier fans know it. Texas fans knows it. Anybody that's got a goddamn pulse knows this is corruption and total bullshit. And if it had been any other team, I would have been pissed. But yes, it's a little bit more that it's West Virginia. I'm not going to lie. Total corruption, bullshit. And the games don't matter. I don't even know why West Virginia goes out and schedules. We should just schedule all Q3 and Q4 games, play patty cake until Big 12 play, and then almost beat our rival down 24 points and say, hey, we should get a moral victory for our Q1 games, and we should be in the tournament because of that. Total bullshit, man. Total bullshit. I'll leave it to you guys to give a less emotional take on it. but this is bullshit. I'm calling a spade a spade. This is total bullshit.
Shout out to Jared Green for giving us $5 here. We very much appreciate it. He mentioned it. The second team left out. We do have an Indiana fan on this stream. How does it feel to know that the Tar Heels get in and Indiana does not?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes from my house where they're selecting right now. I about ran over there for Mac and I myself, and to Mac's point, 111 out of 111 bracketologists have West Virginia in there. That's crap. IU was definitely on the bubble, so I feel definitely a little jobbed here, especially from Texas and North Carolina. I can see Texas a little bit more, but the fact that North Carolina, what was it, 1-12, 1-13 in quad 1 games, it's so embarrassing. IU had no quad 3 losses, no quad 2 losses, and North Carolina had one in Stanford. So and at home, it's a total committee job here. But at the same time, as an Indiana fan, I'm ready to close this chapter, and it's one of the biggest hires that they're going to have. So I think it's a 50-50 feel for Indiana Hoosier fans that they're sad that they're not in the tournament, but also it's a closing chapter, and I think the team's ready to move on as well too. So yeah, it's a travesty though that North Carolina got in over West Virginia, Indiana. I'd even take Boise State as well too.
Cannabis Capper, you and me, a little bit more of the neutral party here, not affected as much with the last 4 in, first 4 out.
Okay.
News that we got. Maybe any takes, analysis, statements on teams that weren't mentioned in that West Virginia, Indiana portion. And I think we've heard quite a bit on North Carolina, and we focused on the College Basketball Experience's nightly shows pretty much every single night this week that we thought North Carolina shouldn't have been in. So do you have any other takes outside of those 3 teams?
Well, first off, I can't believe DePaul didn't get in either. Typically, 3 wins in a season over Georgetown should get most teams in. So if that's not enough for the committee, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, how many Q1 wins does DePaul have? Do you have more than North Carolina?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
I bet you. Hey, I know one thing. At worst, you're only one behind them because
true. Yeah, we're only 1 away from North Carolina.
0-11 in quad 1 games, by the way.
Wow. I mean, clearly they don't matter.
Well, but moral victories matter. So you guys should just count the moral victories. That's what Carolina's doing with their Duke losses. They were close, so you were close.
Well, I mean, to me, every DePaul game is a moral victory in some way, shape, or form. But no, seriously speaking, though, the one I do want to shout out is that San Diego State getting in over Boise. I can't make sense of that. Like,
no.
Boise, their net rank is higher. They played in the conference tournament final. It didn't go their way, but is what it is. And San Diego State, I don't understand the argument for them at all. So I was really kind of shocked to hear them get called ahead of Boise and to see Boise in the first 4 out. That's one of the areas that had me scratching my head more so. About as much as West Virginia and about as much as North Carolina. So that's where I'm coming from it at.
Yeah, that was my also takeaway. I mean, the big takeaway was obviously Tar Heels, but that was a great job by you mentioning that, just because, I mean, Boise, when all the chips were pushed to the middle of the table and both teams knew that they had to win that game because they had to have assumed the stakes, Boise went out and they got the job done. They didn't only win that game, they won 2 games in the Mountain West tournament. And it just goes to show that, to Mac's point, the results this past week didn't really matter all that much. So I was also disappointed not to see UC Irvine at least get a mention in the first 4 out here. I was a gigantic fan of that team all season long. And my statement has always been throughout the season on this show, all the high major teams get way more opportunities throughout the year to prove that they are not worthy of being included in the NCAA tournament than the mid majors that only get 3 or 4 opportunities to prove that they are worthy. And even when they do so, they need to go unworldly. Like UC Irvine's record was tremendous this year, and they still get left out of the dance. They were 28-6. I don't know how much better you need to be when 2 of those losses are to UC San Diego, who won your tournament and represents your conference, and they had a 30-4 record or whatever it was for the season. So I'm disappointed in that because they led the country in road wins, and I thought that would lift a little bit of weight there. Any other things that we need to get off of?
But IU was minus 3,500 to make the about 30 minutes before the selection show to make the tournament. To Mac's point, West Virginia wasn't even listed as an option for the Final Four, so or Final Four teams there. That's a travesty.
Dude, it's a complete rig job. Like for 111 metrics people that actually watch the games, I think, compared to this committee that just doesn't watch the games. That was pretty clear. For all 111 to have West Virginia in and them not make it, I mean, I rest my case. I guess that's the non-biased analytics because I know they tried to crowbar advanced metrics.
Oh, that was the other thing is that they kept bringing up the advanced metrics that they're now using for the first time ever, and they mentioned about six times. I mean, I think they listed about it's like Torvik and like 2 others.
KPI they just added this year, and I don't know, not a huge.
Right, so all you fucking little computer nerds out there, is there an advanced metric for winning at the goddamn Fog? Do you have that one? What about beating Iowa State when they're fully healthy? What about beating Gonzaga when they were top 5 in the country on a neutral? Arizona on a neutral? Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about? These advanced metrics. Take your little keyboard and all that bullshit and shove it up your ass. This is corruption. Just call it like it is. I mean, goddamn. Metrics, Tucker DeVries. I mean, they just lie. They just lie right to our face. I mean, come on. This is a joke. And you know what's sad too is I don't even know if West Virginia would have done anything in the dance. Probably not. They overachieved all year, but the opportunity was taken from them.
Yeah,
they earned a spot in the dance.
Yep.
It was given to North Carolina because of the athletic director being the head chair committee member. And maybe we didn't take that into consideration enough, Noah, but because you had to think there would be a little bit of integrity with this. This is the NCAA tournament that
happens all the time.
Like we're college sports. There's no integrity anywhere.
Yeah.
Look, what are the other 11 members on the committee doing? How can you not push back and go, dude, you have one quad 1 win. You haven't beaten anybody. Your best win's UCLA in December. I get you're the chair committee, but your team sucks. You didn't earn your way into the dance. How does nobody push back on that? And you know what? Maybe this is just their evil way of getting the damn tournament expanded is crowbar and their favorite little blue blood in there so they could screw over a West Virginia that everybody that has a pulse and watch college basketball this year knows wasn't even a bubble team, yet alone being left out of the dance. So maybe this is their evil plan to expand the thing, and West Virginia's the child that they're making an example out of.
Yeah, the last point that I'm going to make here is on this graphic that they displayed during the CBS, selection show. I believe they threw out the clause that these are not listed in any sort of order. I think they're listed in exact order of what happened with the committee. There's no alphabetical order here. How is North Carolina playing San Diego State the only mid-major in the first 4 in Dayton of the 2? Texas and Xavier are playing against each other. And the other thing is just the TV ratings are going to be off the charts for the first 4 games. I mean, you got 2 big brands in Texas, North Carolina not playing each other. So you get people tuning into both games. Perfect job from the committee there.
Home game for Xavier almost pretty much too. So.
Yeah.
And this is also a friendly reminder when we do make our bracket picks, the teams that get into the tournament that shouldn't be in the tournament tend to make runs.
Yeah.
Because it's a narrative, us against the world, weird things happen in this tournament. So just because
and it's momentum.
Yeah, just because the team was wrongly put into it doesn't mean that they're not going to go on a run. We see this in sports all the time. And if they do go on a run, it doesn't mean that they deserve to be in the tournament. What you do from November 5th until now is your resume. You don't get in. What happens after this is just the madness of the NCAA tournament. So I want to make that abundantly clear because I may pick North Carolina. I may pick Texas. I don't know yet. I haven't really decided. I haven't even looked at the damn bracket. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so goddamn pissed off.
The people are going to get a whole lot more of a read of what we are thinking because, Mac, that's the show that we are doing. We're doing an instant reaction show to all of these quadrants of this bracket that we received today. But first, I'm going to interrupt the show to talk to you guys about how you have a chance to win $75,000. Compete against SGPN. So myself, Mac, Colby, Michael, Capper if they enter, Trevor if he enters, and Kramer, Sean Green from the Sports Gambling Podcast. Every SGPN contributor has an entry into this if they want it, and you can also join us. All of us are paying the $25 entry, but $75,000 to the winner take all college basketball survivor contest. March has never been this exciting. Go enter today at splashsports.com/SGPN. That is splashsports.com/SGPN. And we are also brought to you by SeatGeek. Today, you can go over to SeatGeek, use code SGPN10, and you can see any of these NCAA tournament games that are going on at any of these locations. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and there are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, festivals, and more. March Madness is here. Like I said, plenty of games for you guys to be able to use this code SGPN10 to go over there, get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code SGPN10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. And the college basketball experience is also brought to you by DraftKings. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderellas advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen. Bet the unexpected every upset, every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. First time? Here's something special for you. New DraftKings customers get $5. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That is code SGP. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibilities varies by district, by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. That's not it, because TC is also brought to you by Rhythm, and they are throwing a huge epic March Madness party, and you are all invited. Rhythm users are invited to a first 4 watch party Wednesday, March 19th at the Awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. It gets better because Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky Rhythm user. Even if you can't make the party, you can still win the future bet. Rhythm's March Madness stats and success from 2024 with UConn winning. Our percentage of winners was 39% higher than ESPN brackets as a whole. Rhythm had 34% of brackets in ESPN had 24.7% brackets. Rhythm predicted Duquesne, NC State, and Oakland upsets last season. 45% of Rhythm brackets had NC State reaching the Sweet 16 last season. You can attend this free party, plus get a chance to get that $250 future bet when you sign up with rhythm. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. All right, we are back here on the college basketball experience bracket reaction show. We are going to jump in and preview each of these bracket regions one by one, get all of our instant reactions on all of this stuff. Here's by the way, I included this in the slide if we talked about it at all during that opening. SEC got 14 bids this year. Big 10 got 8. Big 12 got 7. Big East got 5. ACC 4. Mountain West 4. And West Coast Conference got 2. But let's start off with the top left portion of the bracket. The number 1 overall team was Auburn this season. They are immediately drawing from the first 4 game between 2 16 seeds, Alabama State and St. Francis. The 8-9 in the South region is Louisville Creighton. Those 4 games are going to be played in 3 games will be played in Lexington, Kentucky. Then the 5 seed is Michigan. They're playing the 12 seed UC San Diego. 4 seeds Texas A&M against Yale. Those 2 games in that quadrant is going to be played in Denver. The bottom half of the bracket is Ole Miss playing the winner of a play-in game between San Diego State and North Carolina. And then the 3 seed Iowa State plays Lipscomb. Those 3 games will be played in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then wrapping up this bracket is the quadrant in Cleveland, Ohio, the 2 seed Michigan State playing, I think that's Milwaukee or no, who is it? 15 was Bryant, and then Marquette, the 7 seed, New Mexico, the 10 seed. Robert Morris got in out of the Horizon League. I know my shit. I don't know why I said Milwaukee. Mac, you get to lead this thing off. Instant reaction. I mean, did Auburn get a good draw as the number 1 overall seed?
I think so. They don't really have any of the tournament winners from the Power Fives.
Michigan.
Michigan. Michigan's the only one, but Sparty being there 2, Iowa State being there 3. They made it pretty clear that Michigan's Big Ten run did not mean a damn thing. That was the biggest takeaway, that they ended up with the 5 seed. They draw UC San Diego, which is going to be a tough matchup, and that number's 2.5 for a reason. So I think Auburn did get a good draw, all things considered. I know they limped down the stretch. Louisville, I feel like, was a little bit underseeded from what I saw around on Bracket Matrix. Them and Creighton's going to be a unique matchup as well.
Yeah, just me being a resident Michigan fan, also a Florida fan. I'll talk about them when they come up about. But hell of a run this week. Too bad it didn't matter. We beat Maryland, Wisconsin, Purdue. All 3 teams that we beat in 3 days are all ranked ahead of us in the NCAA tournament. And we get thrown into the dreaded 5-12 matchup, and it's against the 30 and 4-12 seed. And it's against the team that I mentioned would be this year's Florida Atlantic. And I think I'm going to stay by that. I mean, I think they've been a really, really solid team all season long that hadn't really gotten the opportunity to show what they can do against power conference teams because their schedule didn't provide that. But Mac, second best defense when creating turnovers. That's a wrap. Hufford, your thoughts on the South region?
I kind of feel like this is the region of death. I thought this was an interesting draw. You're seeing 7 and a 10 seed in Marquette, New Mexico. They were always in the top 25. A lot of these teams, Iowa State as well too. So I kind of feel like this was the bracket of death and maybe not the best draw for Auburn, although they may match up well against their 8-9 match. But I think it's going to be somewhat tad chalky when it comes down to Michigan State, but they're in it for the run for their money against Marquette and New Mexico. And I think we see maybe an upset from a North Carolina team that is going to be the one that's disrespected. They get some calls and they maybe upset Ole Miss and the physicality of Ole Miss. And we see an Iowa State matchup as well. So I'll go chalky on the bottom half here with Iowa State and Michigan State. Don't call me the CBS crew because everyone picked them in the Sweet 16 as well. But I'm a little worried about this Auburn draw. I think it's a dangerous matchup in Louisville-Creighton, although Auburn is the more physical team. So I don't think it's the most favorable draw for Auburn, and your Michigan guys got screwed as well too. So they may be the trendy dog, but I'm definitely going to pick San Diego or UC San Diego in their first eligibility tournament for sure. So yeah, give me the Tritons to make some noise, and Auburn's in for a run for their money, and Lexington in the second round as well too.
My quick rebuttal on this would be, I think the West was the region of doom, or the region of death. We'll get to the West in a bit. That would be like who I would throw that title on. Matt, what were your kind of instant reaction when seeing the South region come about?
I'm going to co-sign with Huff and say that this is probably the toughest region in the bracket.
Wow.
At least that was my instant reaction. I mean, first off, Michigan State as a 2 seed is tough. Iowa State, they got a lot of steam, for national championship contenders, a 3 seed. They've got some injuries coming into the tournament, so they're going to be banged up. So that may, we'll have to see how that plays out. But they're still a tough exit for anybody. Michigan is a 5 seed, had me scratching my head. Also, I'm on the Michigan side for that one. I think their size is gonna mess with UC San Diego. San Diego, they don't have anybody. I think their tallest upperclassman is 6'8". So,
can I rebut on that too?
Go right ahead.
UC Irvine's best player is Bent Leuchten, who's 7'2", and they beat him twice this season.
Yeah, but there's a difference between Bent Leuchten and and Vlad and Danny Wolf. I think there's a bit.
It's fair.
You got the 172 skinny guy versus the 2 beefy legit 7-footers. I think their size is really going to mess with their size, and their beef is going to mess with them. I think more than you'd think. Texas A&M is a 4. I feel like they're kind of getting flying under the radar a bit with this. First off, it's a tough draw against Yale. I'm not sure if they get out of that.
Yeah.
But either way, and also the 8-9 Louisville Creighton. I feel that Louisville is coming in a bit underrated. I had them as like a 5-6 seed. I was a bit surprised to see them as in an 8-9 matchup. So that's gonna be a tough. It's gonna be a tough, tough second round matchup for Auburn potentially.
Did you see Pat Kelsey? He put up he was like a 6 or 7. He was holding up the number. He was shook as well.
I agree, dude. I'm with you guys, man. The 8-9 matchup and the 7-10 in these regions are gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Marquette, New Mexico. Both those teams are talented, and of course the Louisville Creighton game is going to have some fireworks.
You get the fantastic point guards in Marquette and New Mexico. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Mac, instant reaction show for a reason. Your most likely upset in the South region. Go.
Define upset.
Seed line. Seed line.
Okay. It'll probably be popular, but I'll go UC San Diego, only getting 2.5 in elevation. That's another thing, Noah. You just played all those games, quick turnaround, and you got to play in elevation in Denver.
Wisconsin got sent to Denver too.
Yeah, I would probably I would take the Tritons over the Wolverines. I don't do leans.
Good catch. Yeah, I already said that I thought UC San Diego would win this game earlier. My other one, I actually think that this entire region is going to blow up. This is my blow up region. Give me Yale over A&M. Huffer, upset pick. Higher seed beats lower seed. Who is it?
I already said it, and Mac did too. I'm going to go UC San Diego here in the Tritons. They might be that trendy kind of upset dog, but I think they capitalize on their momentum of a 30-win season, and we've seen mid-major teams with close to 30 wins or 30 wins always make some noise, at least in the first round or second round. So, give me the Tritons as well.
And Bieniek, the Big Ten trend has not been a good one either, correct?
Yeah, Wisconsin played in the conference championship last year. They lost to James Madison in the first round. Illinois did make the Elite Eight last year. They won the conference tournament. But typically, it's not just Big Ten. It's every power conference tournament champion usually does not pull the sun run that UConn has pulled the last 2 years. So that's typically not been the case.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry. Iowa, too, I think was one that they won the tournament, and then they got bounced early by Richmond.
Yeah, I don't even think it's not just a Big Ten thing. But sorry to interrupt. But Capper, your lower seed to beat a top seed in this region.
Okay. I'll co-sign with Yale. I would love to go unique in this one. I'd love to call it New Mexico State. I'm sorry, I'd love to call it New Mexico, but I think Yale gets the job done against Texas A&M. I think their offense fucks with them, and they squeak it out and go onto the second round.
Yeah, Yale has a whole lot of continuity from a team that beat Auburn in the first round last year. Another SEC team draw in the same 4-13 matchup. And I honestly think that Yale might be a little bit better without Danny Wolf this season. Just look at Bez Bang being the facilitator of this offense. And you also have John Poulikaitis and Nick Townsend take a huge step up this season and have been big contributors. It's not just a one-man, two-man show like Yale kind of was last year. And even in the same breath, Danny Wolf wasn't the star of the show in that Auburn game. So, yeah, I like the Bulldogs over Texas A&M. Mac, we are doing a survivor pool this year. SGPN Survivor. Sign up today at splashsports.com/SGPN for a chance to win up to $75,000 in the winner-take-all contest. But if there are multiple winners, then it will be a little bit of a chop. Mac, this region, give us your one pick that you cannot use the team the rest of the tournament. So the second round, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, Final Four championship, you cannot use them again. Which team do you feel comfortable enough burning them in the first round that they get a win and you advance in your survivor pool?
I will go with. I don't like the 4 and 5, so they're out. I think they're going to be one possession games, and I think it's sweaty. I think Iowa State. I kind of think Iowa State is upset proof just because they're so physical in these games and they bounced early in the Big 12 tournament. I think they're going to be fully healthy. I think they're going to punch Lipscomb right in the mouth, to be honest. And Lipscomb, when they played those physical SEC teams early in the year, they didn't match up well. So Iowa State will be my survivor pick in this region. I think they'll be fully healthy come Thursday or Friday.
Huffer.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one. I'm definitely not picking an 8 or 9 or a 7 or 10 here, just because I think those matchups are really good. I'll have to co-sign with Iowa State. I was going back between them and Michigan State, but I don't know if I necessarily want to use Michigan State that early because I do believe that they are a Sweet 16 Elite Eight bound team. Not saying that Iowa State isn't, but I'm going to side with Michigan State to make it over Iowa State and go further. So that's why I think using Iowa State in the first round is pretty good. And to Mac's credit, they're a physical team. And this is their first year that they've really had a dominant offense as well that can run with Lipscomb's offense efficiently. And they're just going to overpower the Bisons. So, yeah, give me the Cyclones in this first round of the Survivors. Cool.
Capper, are you on the Cyclones too?
The fact that everybody else went with the Cyclones, I was going to go elsewhere. I was thinking Michigan State is probably the one I would gun to my head is the one I would play here, just because I think they're probably going to get past Bryant, and that second round matchup with Marquette and New Mexico is going to be nasty for them. There's upset potential there for sure. So I'll roll with Michigan State to make it out of the first round and use them there because I'm not sure they're going to make it out of the second round alive.
Yeah, it seems chalky, I guess. But, yeah, my survivor pick's going to be the Clones just because they're not 100%. They haven't been playing their best ball down the stretch here. And also throughout the entire season, I've been saying that, just Iowa State in the NCAA tournament the past 2 years, they've kind of gone out in not pretty fashion. So I don't really trust them fully in the NCAA tournament this season. So I'll take them, though, in the first round game. Let's jump over to the bottom half of the left side of the bracket portion. We have the West Regional and West Region, and Florida is the 1 seed. They were the 4th overall 1 seed. They're playing in the Raleigh portion of the bracket. They're playing the 16 seed Norfolk State. They also have the 8 seed, the back-to-back defending national champion in their quadrant, the Yukon Huskies, and the 9 seed Oklahoma Sooners. Then we got the 5 seed Memphis going up against Colorado State, the 12. 4 seed Maryland, 13 seed Grand Canyon. That is being played in Seattle, Washington. Bottom half of this region. The 6 seed Missouri takes on 11 seed Drake. 3 seed Texas Tech takes on 14 UNC Wilmington. Those 3 games will be played in Wichita, Kansas. And then wrapping up this region is the 2 seed St. John's playing Omaha and Kansas playing Arkansas. These quadrants of games will be played in Providence, Rhode Island. Mac, loaded in Providence is my instant reaction. How about yours?
This is the toughest region in my opinion. I think Maryland, I mean, they were right there in the Big 10 the whole year. They're your 4 seed. Memphis has had a good resume all year. And of course you got Danny Hurley and UConn, the 2-time defending champs, as your 8 seed. You go down to the bottom half. I mean, you got that bottom quadrant should be the Hall of Famers in the trash can. I mean, you got Bill Self, you got Calipari, you got Rick Pitino, and then you got the trash can guys from Omaha. So, and then the other one, man, that 6-11 matchups, it contrasts the styles too. So, dude, in Texas Tech, the 3 seed, damn, this region's
it's loaded. It's my region of death.
Woo, man, this is a tough region, man.
Yeah. Capper, lead it off. What were your instant reactions from this regional being announced?
I cannot wait to bet Colorado State against Memphis.
Are they favored?
They're favored.
Colorado State is favored?
Colorado State's laying 2.5.
Wow, I did not see that one coming. Okay, egg on my face. Well, I'll take him as a favorite. F this Memphis team. Get the fuck out of here. Maryland, I was really excited to see where they were going to get seated. The fact that they got Grand Canyon, I think it's a great matchup for them. I know there's Grand Canyon, they run last year. They got a bit of a veteran presence, but I really like the Crab 5. I think they're going to be a lot of fun, and they have potential to blow up this bracket. I can see them beating just about anybody on the right night. In the bottom half, this is again that Kansas Arkansas matchup. Like I really want to see that the Cal Pitino matchup in round 2. I think that could be absolute fire. So yeah, this is a fire bracket. In my mind the bracket of death is more like the blow up bracket, and I think I could see this one going a bit more chalk. So it's kind of why I guess I defined it a bit differently. But either way, this is a brutal bracket. But I think this has the potential to follow seed order, whereas the one we just did that has potential to that could be bananas.
Yeah. So. I agree with you. The top left portion of the bracket, for mine at least, for my money, blows up. This one, there are so many teams that I've loved the entire year. With Florida, St. John's, Texas Tech. Texas Tech was a preseason Final Four team of mine. Florida, I was extremely high on in the preseason compared to a lot of others. I wonder why. But I absolutely hit home runs on those 2 predictions, and it absolutely blows that they're both in this region, and I'm going to have to pick one of them against the other. St. John's is a team that I love, though. Love the pieces on that team, and Kadari Richmond was one of my favorite players the last couple of years in college basketball now. Drake over Missouri seems like an easy trigger for me to pull in this one as an upset pick. In a region that I might think goes a little bit chalkier. A team that I want to just throw a shout to and say keep an eye on. 13-0 in the non-conference was the Oklahoma Sooners. Yeah. They're going up against the back-to-back national champions. Not sure many people are going to go out on a limb and predict that one to be an upset, but I think Oklahoma might have the goods. Porter Moser, good tournament coach. We've seen him do it. Time and time again, 2 different stints at Loyola Chicago. And I'm not throwing any shade at the UConn coaching staff. I mean, they've done really damn well the last couple of years in their own right. But I think that is a loaded 8-9 matchup, and very much did not like the draw that Florida got when it comes to their Raleigh bracket. Mac, instant reaction. Who's the lower seed that knocks off the top seed in this region?
I was going back and forth on this one. I think, could you go back to the top?
Yeah.
Their favorite. Is it an upset?
No, just lower seed over the top seed.
I think
that's messed up.
I think it's a hard spot for Memphis coming off a Sunday afternoon game. You got to fly all the way out to Seattle. Colorado State playing really well. Tyrese Hunter banged up for the Tigers. I know Penny's been good as an underdog, but I think Colorado State is going to continue this momentum, and the Mountain West is going to erase some demons here. I'll take Colorado State, so I'll take another 12.
Capper.
I'll take you to the 7-10 matchup. Give me Arkansas. They knock Kansas. They pick off Kansas early.
Oh, I love it.
Calamari.
Huffer.
Yeah, I didn't do the instant reaction for the whole bracket, so I'll echo all your sentiments there.
Did I skip you on accident?
Yeah, it's okay, it's fine. But the left side of the bracket is way tough. So like you guys both think that the West's coming out on the south of the bracket of death. Let's just say the left side of that bracket is death, and combine the two because it's I think it's way more tougher for each sides.
Lopsided.
Yeah, definitely lopsided. I'll give for the upset here. I like Drake. I like taking teams with a slower pace style and a better defense versus the run and gun type teams. I am worried about Missouri's physicality, athleticism against Drake, but I think Drake can actually slow them down. And they've kind of blundered in the tournament. They're going to get their one tournament win. And listen, this is kind of a wild one, but Wilmington also as well too, as I'll give out because I think Wilmington's a dangerous team that can go on a run. Just again, a physical team in Texas Tech is something they got to be worried about. So I see some upsets in Wichita on Thursday.
Okay. Bold. I really like that Texas Tech team. I'm not pulling the trigger on those Seahawks there. I apologize though. Anything else that you wanted to get off your chest for this region though?
Oh, no. I agree with everything that you said. I think the crazy, I wonder how many people are going to pick UConn out of that 8 seed. But I think the NCAA wants to see a Florida-UConn matchup too in the round of 32. They'll be begging for that. And I'm with you that I think Maryland's a team that's going to come out of this. They're really good physically down low and on the interior. And they also have good guard play. I think they're the perfect combo team to maybe sneak it out of here and make it into the Elite Eight out of the top half of the bracket as well too.
Yeah, David mentioned that Missouri did announce that Mark Mitchell is going to play, but I don't think he's 100%. My upset pick is Drake as well for a lot of the same reasons Huffer mentioned. And I just wanted to throw this in there as well. How about Pitino going back to Providence for NCAA?
I know. It's crazy.
It's awesome. Awesome. I mean, they have they didn't get the Newark region, but Providence to begin the NCAA tournament, and then they're heading out. This region heads out to San Francisco, which, interestingly enough, maybe like Florida is not all that upset with it, like being the 1 seed. Todd Golden came from the Dons out in San Francisco, so if they get to the second weekend, familiar, maybe house of residence or whatnot, maybe sleep on a comfortable bed, whereas other teams are not and other coaches are not. Survivor, again, splashsports.com/SGPN, $75,000 up for grabs to the winner. Mac, a team that you feel comfortable about, that you're not going to necessarily waste them because you don't think they're going to go on a tremendously deep run in the NCAA tournament, but a team that you think is going to win their first matchup in the West region.
I'll go to the other 3. So give me Texas Tech. I do think that they could go on a run, but it's just a tough region, man. I don't like forecasting who I need to use later. I like to win, survive, and advance. And I like Wilmington. I like those guards, but I think Texas Tech full strength is a different animal. I think they're really a 2 seed if they had been healthy all year. So them and Iowa State, like I said, I've liked both teams all year. And actually think that they're maybe the 2 best teams in the Big 12. And I think that they're going to be refreshed coming into a new season.
Survivor, Capper.
St. John's. I want to be able to save the 1 seed for later on, and I'm okay with using the 2 here. Again, to echo Mac's sentiments, my thought is I want to survive in advance. It would be cute if Omaha was managed to pull off the upset, but I don't see it happening. I just think better coach, much better roster, and the spot's not going to be too big on the East Coast. Get this Omaha bullshit out of here. Go bang your trash cans back in Nebraska. Let's let the big boys play.
Huffer, Mac chose his survivor to go up against your upset pick. Who's your survivor?
They're throwing a bold one. I'll go UNC Wilmington. No, I'm kidding. You know what? I'll take a stab here on the 8 and 9 seed and go with Hurley and UConn with their familiarity on March. I wanted to take Maryland, but I'm confident that they can make it to the Sweet 16. And I'm confident that St. John's will make a run as well too with their defense. So I didn't want to use them that early. So I'll take a stab here on the 8-9 and go a little risky on the first play with UConn beating Porter Moser and his success in March, but Hurley's just got as much success and more. So I think we see a rig job, a sell job from this Huskies team, and the NCAA is going to be on their side here. So I'll take a stab with the 8-9.
All right, I'll take you to Maryland over Grand Canyon. I was not sold on the Lopes in the non-conference this season. I thought they were a little bit weaker than past GCU teams that we've seen. But I'm with Capper. I really like the Terps starting 5 that they're now calling the Crab 5. I don't know if you noticed, but they called timeout with no timeouts left in the end of that Michigan game. So they lived up to the name that they are ironically coining themselves after in a little bit different way, I should say. And yeah, I'll go Terps over GCU as my survivor pick in this region. Before we continue with this bracket reaction show, let me tell you about College Basketball Experience's partner, Underdog Fantasy. It's time for bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog Pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100x your entry. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is also partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. The best part is no credit checks, and it's completely free. Sign up today for an Edge Boost card and enter our free $2,000 bracket contest at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. And we are back here on the College Basketball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, joined alongside Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. Ryan McIntyre, Michael Huffer, and Cannabis Capper, a.k.a. Matt Dewoskin. We are running through the 2025 NCAA Tournament Bracket, given our instant reactions and analysis to the entire thing, each region by region. And we're going to the top right portion of your bracket. I've got a nice little printed out copy here in front of me, by the way, that I have been kind of working on or attempting to fill this thing out as we go along. But the East region, the 1 seed, the second overall 1 seed was the Duke Blue Devils. They'll play the winner of a playing game in American and Mount St. Mary's. I thought American was really underseeded here. I have American winning that first 4 game pretty easily. Mississippi State against Baylor. These 3 games will be played in Raleigh, North Carolina. Then we got Oregon and Liberty, and the 5 seed and 12 seed there, and the 4 seed Arizona playing the 13 seed Akron. Those that quadrant is in Seattle, Washington, and in the bottom half of this region is the 6 seed BYU up against the 11 seed VCU. 3 seed Wisconsin against 14 Montana. Those games are playing in Denver. And then 7 seed St. Mary's up against 10 seed Vanderbilt. 2 seed Alabama against the 15 seed Robert Morris. That quadrant is in Cleveland, Ohio. Mac, the East region. Did Duke get a favorable draw here?
I would probably rank it maybe 3rd. I think that you have some fascinating matchups. If I was to pick a 2 seed that I would want in my bracket, Alabama would have been the the 2 seed. So in terms of that, I think they did get the weakest and most vulnerable 2 seed. Wisconsin, maybe would have been my pick on the 3 seed too. But I do think you have some interesting teams in the top half, Oregon and Arizona. Duke was able to beat Arizona already this year. Oregon with Dana Altman, they've had a lot of experience. So I also think that the 6-11 and the 7-10 matchups in this region are very fun. BYU and VCU is a 6-11 game. That BYU was picked off last year in the first round. I think this is a tough matchup against VCU as well. St. Mary's and Vandy is going to be an unbelievable game. I don't know how St. Mary's is a 7 seed, by the way. They were underseeded by about 3 seed lines. But yeah, I think the bottom half has some really solid teams. The top half, for the most part, I think Duke should be able to get through this. But it's I don't know. I'd rank it third out of the 4.
Yeah, I mean, how about Oregon being an 8 seed in the Big Ten tournament and a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament? Your thoughts there? Maybe they could have been switched with the 7 seed St. Mary's. I don't know. Huffer, instant reaction to the East region.
Yeah, talk about getting a favorable draw to Duke. They did exactly what they wanted. I think it's definitely the easiest cushion for a 1 seed. And to Mac's point, with Alabama being the 2, they're in a world of hurt if they see that stout defense of the Gales in the 7-10. So, yeah, I think it's a favorable draw for Duke. I think Arizona's so volatile that I don't know which team that we're going to get from Arizona, which is a little scary, up and down constantly. Yep. And then Dana Altman, has had success in March and is a good coach. So I expect them to, if they can get by Liberty, to get by Arizona at least in the second round, but may have an upset for that game. We'll see. So yeah, I think this was the easiest cushion for a 1 seed. And if that mind going to that bottom half of the bracket real quick. St. Mary's is dangerous, and I think putting VCU in elevation against BYU. Man, I want an eye test. If that game was played on a neutral that wasn't in elevation, I would naturally just take VCU on defense alone. But BYU's been playing super hot to end the year, and they're in elevation. I'm super excited for that one. And I hate to say it, I know Stooley picks loves in his Wisconsin. I love going against them, just for that banter alone. But I expect Wisconsin to come out hot, especially after shooting how they did today. And rebound with Tanji. So I think they can easily make the Sweet 16 as well too. Favorable draw for Duke.
Okay.
Mike giving out a shout out to Trevor Vandenbosch Jones, aka Stooley Picks, and his Wisconsin Badgers, Big Ten champs. Just gonna mention that too. Go Blue. Capper, okay. East region. Any thoughts here that you'd like to add?
Honestly, this is the one where I think in the first round, like the home environment is going to the location is going to matter the most. You got Oregon playing essentially a home game in Seattle, for the first 2 games. Duke playing a home game in essentially a home game in Raleigh for the first two rounds. Then you go to the bottom half. Robert Morris is less than a 2-hour drive away from Cleveland.
True.
BYU getting to play in elevation, Montana getting to play in elevation. So I think this is where the home spot is actually going to matter a bit more than some of the other regions. The BYU VCU game jumped out to me immediately, just because the contrast in styles is fantastic. BYU with the offense and VCU with the clamps on D. That's gonna be phenomenal. The bottom half, I really love the draw for St. Mary's. I think they can get past. They have to beat 2 SEC teams, but I think they've got the roster to do it. I kind of like them coming out of that. I think this is a great draw for St. Mary's here. Is my initial takeaway. Right. Shout out to the chat, Bill Russo. St. Mary's is trash. As soon as I mentioned how much I like St. Mary's, shout out Bill Russo. You're a good guy.
How are they trash? How are they trash?
I have no idea.
Like 4 losses, but like a combined 12 points. They're been a wagon this year.
Yeah, they've been freaking brutal. They've been wrecking everybody. So
in this region, to me, the thing that jumps out is I like Oregon as well. That's a team that I circled as they had a very good non-conference slate. They were one of those teams in the preseason that everybody was wondering how they would fit in the Big Ten and that actually their different style could suit them better in the conference. And it actually didn't work out that way, as they suffered a stretch where they lost 6 of 7 and tanked a little bit. Where, I mean, they have wins against Alabama and Texas A&M earlier in the non-conference this season. Alabama, a 2 seed in this very region, A&M, another 4 seed. And the SEC did not drop many non-conference games this season. It was historically good. I think this Oregon team is a 5 seed that does survive. Interestingly enough, though, I was listening to our guy, Rocco, and he mentioned that Richie McKay, Liberty's head coach, his brother played football for Oregon, and they are from the Seattle area, like his family. So they're going to have a lot of contingency there, like his family, and he'll have a good fan section for what it's worth. So Oregon Liberty is going to pack a punch. I said in multiple times throughout the season that I thought the Conference USA would make some noise in the NCAA tournament, and here I am going against that prediction once I see the field come out.
Well, no. To be fair, they were going to have to go to Seattle to play Oregon in the first round.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
That's a nasty draw. So I don't think anybody. If anybody gives you a hard time for that, no, they can go fuck themselves.
Capper, I appreciate you backing me up.
Anytime, Noah.
The next point that I was going to take you to was I kind of like Vanderbilt over St. Mary's. I like the athleticism of the Commodores up against St. Mary's. We saw this last year. The Gales dropped that opening game, and they just, flat out lost the game. And I think the same kind of situation could be in store here as well. I think it's a really interesting matchup of styles, and just by last year's team not surviving that first round, it's an instant reaction show. I'm going to go and handicap it afterwards, but I think Vandy wins that game. Mac, with that said, lower seed that beats the top seed. Which pick are you most comfortable giving out on this show?
I'll side with the boys out in the desert again. They're telling you UC San Diego with that short line are live to win that game. They're telling you Colorado State's going to beat Memphis, and they're telling you VCU is live to beat BYU. It's a 2.5-point line. I agree. I think that's a tough matchup for BYU, rookie head coach. I'll be on VCU and their experience in this tournament. Ryan Odom's been there looking for his first win in the dance since his UMBC day. So give me the local team here, the Rams, to knock off BYU.
I'm old enough to remember when New Mexico was favored over Clemson last year, an Elite 8 team. So I don't know if I'm totally sold on you just diving head first all the way into the deep end on all 3 of these games so far.
Well, everybody and their mother was on New Mexico last year.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody's going to be on VCU. I think BYU's been.
I think you're just a BYU hater. You have been all year.
I haven't been a hater. I pick him at home in Provo all the time. I just think
they're not playing back.
What's difference between Provo and Denver?
Well, it's not at the Super Soaker.
A couple hundred miles.
It's not the Super. And there's a big difference. Provo is the Super Soaker. This is in the altitude of Denver. It's a neutral site game.
BYU's fan base is going to be there.
They're going to come on.
Yeah, faith.
It's going to be a home.
They'll be there, but it's not like playing in Provo, guys.
Fair.
There's a whole different animal.
I can't make you agree with this, I guess. I tried. Huffer, your lower seeded team to beat a higher seeded team in the East region.
Yeah, I like taking stabs here. I don't care how about this travel spot. I said they were a volatile team. I will take the Akron Zips against Arizona. Akron, Groce, good coach. I like the way this Akron team plays. They can get physical. And I think if they're able to limit Arizona around the perimeter and make sure they're not they can get as physical as Arizona, but if they can limit their shots around the perimeter, stop the volume as much as they can with Arizona, I expect the Zips and the MAC to get a random one that not many people expect, considering it's a 15, 13 point spread. So yeah, I'll take the long dog here. In the Zips. I was going to go maybe Baylor over Mississippi State, but I didn't feel comfortable only doing an 8-9. I don't know if that's really a big upset.
Capper, your upset pick in the East region.
Okay. Do you remember what happened last year when the Horizon League played an SEC team?
Oh.
Yeah.
Give me Robert Morris to upset Alabama. Come on, Chad. Bring me the hate. Chad, bring me the hate. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Cleveland too.
In Cleveland. Okay, so that's so that when I saw it was Robert Morris in Cleveland, less than 2 miles away from Moon Township, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So they're going to have the crowd. So that's one. Okay.
I don't know. Like they'll have some crowd. I don't know if they have the crowd.
Bieniek, when a 2 or 3 seed is in a dogfight, it's automatically a road game. So they will definitely have the crowd if Bob Morris can just keep it close initially.
Yes.
I'm not sure if like St. Mary's or Vandy's taking over that gym and rooting against Alabama though.
Everybody not
Vandy,
in Alabama is going, and Alabama isn't going to travel like crazy. They're not a best.
Not for this. Not like to Cleveland.
Yeah,
in Cleveland, March. Oh, what an amazing travel spot. They're at the Floribama shore, getting a tan and hitting another cousin. Yeah, give me Romo to get the update, to get the upset here. One, I like the spot. That's one. Two, Robert Morris has been that shoe up their ass team for the entire season. At this point, it's a trend. It's no longer just shoe up their ass. It's their identity. I think they could get hot, and I think they could pull that upset. I'm not for I'm not like penciling in my bracket just yet. This is initial reaction. I don't like that spot for Alabama as my initial reaction. That's all I'm saying.
And Robert Morris's biggest weakness is turnovers, and Alabama doesn't force turnovers.
No, they don't play defense at all.
They let freight trains go through the offense, or defense. I mean. So.
Yeah, and Romo, just from seeing them play in the Horizon League tournament in Indy earlier this week, they had the player of the year in the conference in Fulgaris. He's a 7'2" Spaniard who can shoot it from the outside. Not sure Alabama's got what it takes to, match up with him. It'll be interesting to see what they can do. RMU does have 2 small guards. Alabama's got some length on the outside that might give them some issue, but I like the shout. I commend you on picking once again the Horizon League to take down a hot SEC top seed. My upset pick, I kind of hinted at it earlier. I'm not going to get very creative in the East, I guess. I don't see a whole lot of upsets here. Give me Vandy. I'll take the Vandy boys over the Gills.
Okay. I got shout out to the chat. I just started and I want to bring it up. Shout out to D-Zong. Robert Morris has a better chance of winning in football. I thought that was funny. That made me smile, D-Zong. Good comment by you.
I think I'm going to go back on a statement I said earlier. This is the weakest region. The more and more, because I didn't want to say it was the weakest region, and then we get to the next one, like, oh, this one's the weakest. This is the weakest. They gave Duke a nice region here. And regionality favors Duke with Raleigh and what were they at? Newark. That fucking ACC corruption's at an all-time high here on Sunday. This region for Duke and then the Carolina thing, disgusting.
Yeah, and Duke already beat Arizona, who's the 4 seed in their quadrant, by 14 on Arizona's floor this year. So.
The round of 64 game could be tricky for Duke because Flag will be coming back in. That will be the trickiest game for them. That when you're easing the star back in, he's not in game shape. Baylor's playing pretty well right now. Mississippi State, I don't know about them. They're up and down. That, in my opinion, that'll be a harder game than maybe the Sweet 16 game.
I'm happy that I get to bet American against the Mount. I feel really confident that they're going to win that game and probably cover as a favorite in that matchup. I wish that they were like a 15, though. I would have been a little bit more bullish on American maybe competing. That was a team that I've loved the entire year, the continuity and their shooters. So Survivor, once again, Splash Sports. We are teaming up with them. $75K winner take all Survivor pool. Splashsports.com/SGPN. You have a chance to win a share of $75,000 for just a $25 entry. We urge you guys to compete against us, as a lot of SGPN contributors are going to be in this contest. MAC, maybe a team that you don't feel tremendously confident in making a run in the NCAA tournament, but a team that you feel pretty good about using in the first round as they can win their game here. East region, go ahead, Survivor.
Oh, I don't like any of these. Other than Yeah, I really don't like. I could see Liberty beating Oregon. Arizona's a high variance team.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if Akron beat them with all that experience.
Yeah.
You want me to lead?
What?
You want me to lead?
I'll keep it simple. Duke.
Okay.
Survive in advance. Duke will not lose to American or Mount St. Mary's. I'll take my shoe-in win, and then I'll worry about round 32 when I get to round 32.
My survivor's Alabama because I don't really love this Crimson Tide team throughout the NCAA tournament here. They're like a high variance team, but I feel like they should be able to get through the 2-15 matchup. And I can feel comfortable and say that I used Alabama, but I've got plenty more options outside of the Crimson Tide that I feel a little bit better about. Capper, survivor.
I'll ride with Wisconsin to beat Montana. I know it's in elevation. That's not ideal, but I just think that they're just such a skilled team that they should at least be able to win a 3-14 matchup at elevation. I mean, and that's really the only case I can make for Montana is that it's at elevation. So I'm gonna roll with whiskey here. Shout out to TVDVJ, Wisconsin, dub up for this game.
Huffer?
I'll co-sign here with Cap and take Wisconsin. These two actually already played in the tournament as a 4-13. Wisconsin drilled them. That was 12 years ago, though, so wouldn't take any credit to that. Most Montana team's legit. But I think Montana's biggest issue is their defense. They can run and gun, play that LA Fitness kind of ball that I've mentioned. But I think with how bad Wisconsin shot, and it's going to be a weird time, 1:30 Eastern in Denver, it might be a little sluggish at first, which probably will fare for Wisconsin's defense. And I like their free throw percentage. They all shoot the ball well, and Wisconsin can get to the line a lot. So I'll take Wisconsin here. Not as comfortable as they can go on a big run. So give me the Badgers here on the survivor pick against the Grizzlies in Denver.
The final region of the bracket, the bottom right portion of your paper, is the Midwest region. And Houston is the one seed here. They were the third overall one. They're playing the 16 seeds SIU Edwardsville. The 8 seed is Gonzaga.
Good
the
Lord.
9 seed is Georgia. These 4 teams are playing in Wichita, Kansas. The 5 seed is Clemson going up against McNeese. Will Wade, alma mater, is Clemson. He's playing his alma mater in the first round. Purdue, 4 seed, going up against High Point, the 13. Has Matt Painter ditched the first round high-seeded, upset losses? We'll see. 3 seed Kentucky playing Troy, the 14 seed, and Illinois gets the winner of the play-in game between Texas and Xavier. Those games will be played in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then Tennessee, the 2 seed, going up against 15 seed Wofford, and UCLA, the 7 seed, playing Utah State as the 10 seed. Those games are playing in Lexington, Kentucky. Midwest region, Mac, your initial thoughts?
If you're Houston, would you rather be the 2 seed than the 1 seed in your own region?
Yeah.
The hell is this? I'm so sick of the Big 12 anti-buy. This is a joke. This region for Houston, Tennessee's the 2. I mean, you got Gonzaga. By the way, we put teams in earlier because of advanced metrics. Gonzaga's advanced metrics are 8, and they're an 8 seed. So which is it? Do the keyboard warriors have a leg to stand on, or does it not matter? They pick and choose. Gonzaga being 8, I mean, come on, man. That's ridiculous for Houston. Clemson has been good all year as well. And then, of course, Purdue has the track record. But they also have choked in the past as well. So Purdue could be a high variance team here. I still will go Houston just because I trust Kelvin Sampson, but they got a raw deal. This is a clown show. Their top half versus everybody else's top half. So, like I said, I'd rather be the 2 seed than the 1 seed in this region.
It's a fair statement. I would probably agree with you.
Statement.
Yeah. That's a tough draw. Tough draw for sure for Houston. They're getting a top 10 Ken Pom team in the second round. Capper, your initial thoughts, reaction to the Midwest region here?
I kind of can't wait to bet Georgia.
Really?
I hope so. I hope so.
That was my initial reaction. I think an SEC team against this Gonzaga team. This version of Gonzaga, is by far the weakest version of Gonzaga we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years.
They're laying 6.5, by the way.
Yeah, that's not ridiculous. I think Georgia could not only cover that, but probably win it up, potentially win it outright. We've seen them get chippy. I mean, Wichita, Kansas, that's not going to be like a lit environment for either side, really. I could see Georgia pulling off an upset there. Why not? Clemson versus McNeese. I did notice that you got Will Wade playing his alma mater. That's kind of exciting. It's Purdue versus High Point. That's going to be a banger. I think High Point might be live in that one too.
Yeah,
it wouldn't shock me. Can we flip to the bottom? Kentucky and Troy. I hate to say it, it's kind of a snooze fest. And Illinois, Texas Xavier winner. Snooze. That's the snooze.
Capper is not using SeatGeek to attend the games in Milwaukee.
No, well,
he'll use SeatGeek to attend the games in Providence.
There you go.
Kentucky better watch out.
Code SGPN 10 SeatGeek.
So Kentucky, Troy. Yeah, I think Kentucky gets past Troy. And bottom half, UCLA, Utah State. That's gonna be an absolute banger. I'm excited for that matchup. The Clemson UCLA versus that Utah State offense. That's gonna be exciting. And Tennessee's gonna drill freaking Wofford.
All right. Instant reaction to the Midwest portion of the bracket, Huffer.
Yeah, got to co-sign with Mac. Tennessee got a favorable draw. I don't know if they're just trying to give Rick Barnes a little easier bump here for his 500 record in March, but no clue on there. I actually liked UCLA on my initial reaction. We were doing a pump fake pod watch party, and I really liked the draw for UCLA and Mick Cronin in March. But then Seth Davis said it right away, so I kind of wanted to lay off of that. I thought that. So yeah, tough draw for Houston. Especially Gonzaga is an 8 seed. We kind of, Gonzaga, they played McNeese last year. McNeese was that trendy dog. They blew McNeese out of the water. It's definitely a different team, but we know Gonzaga's success in March. That's another just tough 8-9 battle for the 1 spot. And last time Purdue was a 4 seed. It was against North Texas, and North Texas got it done in the 13. So I think High Point definitely trendy, and we could see some upsets in that 12-13 bracket and make sure one of those double digits get into the Sweet 16, although Clemson has been playing very good as of recent. I think Kentucky got a favorable draw as well, too. I know Mark Pope in March needs the success here, and I think Kentucky has been battle-tested all season with injuries, and they've prevailed in some spots as well and got wins where they shouldn't have. And I just think Illinois is a little too high seed as well too. I think 6 is way too high for them. I know they caught some success in the Big Ten tournament a little bit after their battles as well with injuries, but favorable draw for Kentucky in this bottom half as well. And I think we do, like I said, with the Seth Davis stuff. UCLA is a dangerous matchup if they get by Utah State against a Tennessee team that we've seen before not do so well in March. So this is the second worst region. Definitely Duke got the best, but this is a cushy one on the bottom side. So
yeah, I wouldn't tell Houston that they're in the second most favorable region, but
they're top. Yeah.
But I tend to agree with you that this is one of the more softer ones when it comes to the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 4 seed, even kind of all the way down. I'm going to lead off the upset pick because I'm going to take a lot of people by surprise. My lower seeded team to beat a higher seeded team in the Midwest region is High Point. Yes, I'm saying it, everybody that listens to this show continuously. I'm predicting both of my teams, Michigan and Purdue, to lose in the first round of this year's NCAA tournament. I don't think Michigan will beat UC San Diego, and I don't think Purdue is going to beat High Point. You look at this High Point team, and they've got high major talent all throughout. They've got Bobby Pettiford, who is a Kansas transfer, as the 6th man coming off the bench. They've got really good guards, and they have a 7-footer in Bodo to bump with TKR. Purdue's biggest issue this year has been depth. I think High Point is going to give the Boilermakers a run for their money, and that's my upset pick in the Midwest region. Mac, your upset pick. Who is it?
5-12. That's a scary draw for Clemson. McNeese has had experience in the NCAA tournament last year. They got drilled, but they made some adjustments. They added to the roster. They've been playing really good basketball coming into the NCAA tournament. And Will Wade's won in March before. So Clemson coming off an Elite 8 run last year. I think a lot of people will remember that and kind of favor them here. But I think McNeese, who popped up in those SEC environments this year and almost beat Alabama, almost beat Mississippi State. I like McNeese to pick off Clemson here. Let's go.
Capper, your upset pick.
Okay, can you flip to the other side, please?
Yep.
Thank you. Would Utah State winning a first-round game with that kind of an upset?
Yeah, lower seeded beating the top seed.
Okay, in that case, I'll take the Mountain West team to get the job done against the Big Ten team. Give me Utah State to clip UCLA. I just
Big Ten quotation.
Oh yeah, Big Ten. Sorry, I forgot the quotation marks. I apologize. My thought process there is first off, this is a really young UCLA team. I know they got the experience with the coach, but that roster is actually pretty young. I think Utah State's kind of been through it. This is a great, we've seen this team, kind of struggle in March. I think this is the year they get over the hump and move on to the next round. So I like Utah State to clip UCLA in the first round here.
Huffer, your upset pick here.
I co-sign Noah and Ryan's. I love them. With just got to bet against Purdue on the principle there alone, and then maybe some Brad Burnell's looking at other places, maybe potentially even after their run last year. But I'll look ahead. Look ahead job. Your senioritis 2 weeks pink slip kicking in. But I'll go with Texas and Xavier. I'll take the 2-for-1 special here to beat Illinois in the 6-11. We've seen success from these teams in the Dayton region. If they make it out of the first four, we've seen a team at least get one win and even make it the Sweet 16 or further. So I like the way Xavier ended the season on a high note. Texas not so much, but they did look good in the SEC tournament. And Illinois making the Elite Eight last year. I have not liked what I've seen from Illinois defensively as much as I have. So I think Texas or Xavier will get it done. Whichever team wins, I'm confident. If it's the Battle of the Orange in Texas or if it's Xavier in Milwaukee, they'll get it done. But what a favorable location though for your Illini, Cap.
All right,
practically a home game.
We're all going to give out our survivor pick for this region, but real quick, while I'm doing Splash Sports read and plug, pull up a bracket. If you don't have a printed bracket in front of you, pull it up on a phone or a picture, because we're going to be doing kind of big picture stuff conversation after this. But splashsports.com/SGPN for a chance to win a share of $75,000 in a winner take all survivor contest. You can compete against Mac, myself, plenty of other SGPN contributors. It's just a $25 entry. Mac, who is your survivor team in round one in the Midwest region? Team that you feel most confident about winning their first round game, but not necessarily making a long run in March?
Tennessee. Rick Barnes, defense. They'll swallow up Wofford, I think. I'll take the Vols here as my survivor. I'm
co-signing Tennessee as my survivor pick as well. Capper, survivor?
Give me. I'll make it 3-for-3. Give me Tennessee. It's by far the best matchup here. I think we know that they can choke at any time after this game or in this game. So give me Tennessee. I'll ride with Tennessee and Rick Barnes. Let's go.
Huffer, is it a 4-person sweep for Tennessee?
It is Wendy's 4-for-4 for sure. I will take the 4-for-4 there and take Tennessee. Favorable matchup for them. I am a little worried about them in March though. And this was I was looking at the 8 and 9 in Gonzaga, Georgia, but I feel more comfortable about Tennessee being able to take out Wofford. Defensively, they can hold Wofford to under 50 points and just get this job done and muck it up. So yeah, give me Tennessee here, 4-for-4.
All right, let's have some fun and give the people what they want and begin the bold predictions portion of this episode. Let's have plenty of fun. I mean, we talked about it earlier. This show, there is every single season, every single year, it seems like there is a play-in team that makes a little bit of a run. They'll win their first 4 game in Dayton. They'll travel to the site that they play on Friday. They win that Friday game. They make the round of 32. Some of them even go to the Sweet 16, but there is a good portion of these play-in games or play-in teams that use the momentum that they gain from winning that extra game and then go and upset that first team, whether it be a 5 seed, 6 seed, whatever, what have you. We have 4 teams this season that are lower seeded. I would say not many of us are going to go out on a limb and predict that a 16 seed is going to do some damage this season. So I think the 4-team pool that we're looking at is Texas, Xavier, that's game 1, and then San Diego State, North Carolina in game 2. Guys, who wants to kick this one off? Mac, do you feel comfortable in giving it out?
I will. I think if we want to talk about a run, you kind of look at who they're going to play if they win as well. I'd rather play Illinois than rather play Ole Miss, because I'd rather play Brad Underwood than I would Chris Beard. And then you get Kentucky as a 3 seed, who I think is very fraudulent as well, and banged up and not very good defensively. So give me Xavier as my team out of the coaches that I trust the most. Yeah, I don't trust Rodney Terry and I don't trust Hubert Davis. I think they both suck. I think Sean Miller's a good coach. They've been to a Sweet 16 2 years ago and beyond in its first tenure. I think Xavier, with the way they finished the year, could be the team that gets to a second weekend.
The team that I'm going to take – sorry, Mac, what'd you say?
Even though they don't deserve to be in. 2 things can be true.
The team that I'm going to take that doesn't necessarily deserve to be in is North Carolina. I just think when you look at their path of teams that are in their way of getting to a possible Sweet 16, not sure if any of them can really exploit their weaknesses of just being a team that lacks a true presence down low. North Carolina has some talent on the outside, a trio of really good guards that can shoot the ball. And I'll take North Carolina as the team. I think they can get past San Diego State with a little bit of offense. San Diego State kind of lacks in that department this year compared to other Aztec teams we've seen. I do think that Chris Beard might have his foot out the door when it comes to a little job over there in Bloomington that could be calling his name. So North Carolina getting an Ole Miss team in round 1 that they might be able to pull off that upset. I'll take the Tar Heels there. And then Iowa State, not at 100%. That's an easy excuse there, but they're also a team that I just said in the NCAA tournament, I do not have full faith in. Hubert Davis, at least we've seen him go to the Sweet 16 before. We've seen him go to the Final Four before. I'll take the Tar Heels as my first 4 team to make a little bit of a run. Huffer, who's your team?
Yeah, I'm gonna co-sign with Mac on Xavier here. I already like that 6-11 matchup we talked about on the upset for the Midwest region. Either team winning, I feel comfortable about getting by Illinois. But if I had to pick one on that matchup, to Mac's point, Rodney Terry in March, I'm not going to trust him. And I think the way Xavier's been playing, they ride that momentum high into the season, and they were on the outskirts looking in. Pretty much all season and found their way in late in all February and this March play. And I like the way that they play interior. They can still spread the floor pretty well, and I feel like they can play to different styles of matchups. And they get a porous defense 2 times in a row potentially in Illinois and Kentucky. It's a favorable run for them to at least get to the Sweet 16 out of that 11. So
okay.
Yeah. Sorry to repeat myself from the Midwest region there, but
you're good, bro.
Still comfortable.
Capper.
All right, I'm going to ride with the guy that I feel is the best coach in this scenario, and that's San Diego State. I do think Chris Beard has 1 foot out the door. So I kind of like. First of all, I think they're going to get past UNC. I think defense wins in March. They've got athletes. They've got guys. And we've seen this UNC team, kind of shit the bed time and time again. Every big spot, every game they needed to win, they've croaked. So, and also, I would really like to see. I really hope they have like a live game of Bubba Cunningham watching that game, just so we can kind of see him at the end as UNC is walking off the floor with their head slumped. Give me San Diego State to win that one. They get past Ole Miss, and again, it's March. A young San Diego State team versus a banged up Iowa State team in Milwaukee. Anything could happen. Give me, so give me San Diego State. With the coaching edge there to get to get the job done in the first and in the play in the first round, and then who knows what happens in that second round matchup. Let's see what happens.
All right, I am currently filling out a bracket anxiously and frantically because of this next question that we have, and that is, which double-digit seed do you feel the most confident in getting to the Sweet 16? Does anybody want to lead this one off? That way nobody else steals their thunder.
Okay.
Yeah, I will go with the Tritons of UC San Diego. I think we've talked about them at length on the show. They passed the eye test. They've won on the road. They won at Utah State. They make a bunch of shots from multiple positions, and they ranked 30th in defense. So a good balance offense and defense here in this region. UC San Diego will be my Sweet 16 team from the double-digit line.
Does somebody else feel confident enough to go ahead?
I don't mind. Huff, go right ahead, please.
That was very Midwest of us to both just be like, yeah, go. You can go. No, you go. But I'll take McNeese State here. I think they avenge last season's blunder against Gonzaga in the same matchup. Now they're getting a Clemson team, like I said, in a look-ahead spot, and I think all of us didn't mind High Point against Purdue as well too. So with that alone, an automatic double-digit in that scenario, and I would have to still take McNeese over High Point. And avenging that, I like the way McNeese athletes play, and I do trust Will Wade as well too, and just the vibe and cohesiveness that they all have together is something that is not in the analytics. It's not in any of the metrics that anyone looks at. But I feel that with certain amount of some teams this year, and one of those is McNeese, and we've seen it all plastered all over social media as well too. So yeah, I like the cohesion of that team. So give me McNeese State here in the Sweet 16 in the Midwest.
Okay, I'm going to go with Drake.
Okay.
Okay. They have Missouri in the first round. I think they can pick them off. I think they can get that. Catch that upset. Again, with their style of play, I think it's a bad matchup for Missouri. Second round, they have Texas Tech, and again, they've struggled with injuries. They've been up and down all year. If they can catch them on the right night, Drake could beat Texas Tech and move on to the Sweet 16. I'm going to go with the young Drake team to get the job done, moving on to the Sweet 16 this year.
I'm going to co-sign UC San Diego with Mac. I feel pretty good about them winning that first-round matchup against Michigan. I also like Yale to beat Texas A&M, but even if they don't, I think UC San Diego can compete with A&M. They're another team and style like that. They have a duo of guards and Ani Waniwa, Tate Jones, and Tyler McGuy that have done the entire damn thing all season long. They have really good continuity from the D2 level. It's kind of the same story as with Drake, but with these guys, I think this is just a really special group and year, and Eric Olin has done a tremendous job coaching this program up through the transition from D2 to D1. This is the fifth year, the exact year that they were first eligible to be in the NCAA tournament. They took care of business in the Big West. Every spot that they've been told to answer the bell, they have. And I think the Tritons are dangerous in this tournament. So I think they could make a little bit of a run.
I want to change mine because I thought that we were doing it per region. So I hopped in the first region. But I will say they were my second pick. So I echo everything you say. My other one is VCU out there and this is my most confident one. What region are they? They are in the East region in Newark. I think that they match up well with BYU. I think that they're going to be able to score at will against BYU's defense that's been up and down. I think they have the size at the guard position, the experience as well. And then if they win that, they would get a crack at Wisconsin, who has been an up and down team in March under Greg Gard. So I think VCU, with their offense and defense balance of Ryan Odom here, I love the Rams to get to the second weekend. But I do like your Tritons too, Noah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
All right,
you liking my Tritons. The next prediction we want out of you guys is your Final Four. Let's cut right to the chase.
Jesus.
We can go region by region for all of us if we feel a little bit better about clicking through the slides that we have, or if you have a bracket in front of you. Okay. So out of the South region, the Auburn region, the top left portion of your bracket, who is coming out of this region for you?
I have the Michigan State Spartans, Tom Izzo, getting to the Final Four. They get it done over Auburn in the Elite Eight.
As much as I've talked so highly on UCSD, I think Auburn is the Final Four team in this region.
Okay. They've lost 3 of their last 4, have they not?
Yeah, but in non-conference, do you see how dominant they were?
True.
So once they get out of the SEC, it might be a breath of fresh air. So
fair enough. All right.
Capper?
I'm going to co-sign with Mac. I got Michigan State coming out of this. I love their guard play. Izzo in March. Let's get it done for Michigan State.
All right. Make sure you remember these picks, too, because I'm going to come back at the end and get you saying all 4 of your teams in order for clips for social media. Huffer, your team coming out of the South region.
Yeah. I hate doing this because you guys picked twice. I'll go Michigan State as well. I was battling between Michigan State and Iowa State. I really wanted to pick Iowa State, but I trust Izzo in March. I like this cohesiveness of Michigan State as well too. They may not lack a top talent, but naturally they got depth and they all play well together and they have great pieces that fit into every little place. I think it's definitely Auburn at the top. I like UC San Diego as well, Bieniek with you, but I think Auburn would absolutely run them out of the gym if they played each other through the physicality of Auburn. So I think it is a little more favorable for Auburn at the top. So, yeah, I like Auburn, Michigan State. Michigan State gets by Auburn to the Final Four.
All right, we move down the left side of the bracket to the West region, the region where Florida is the number 1 seed. And, man, my 2 favorite teams, just from a take that I had that went so right for me all year in Florida and Texas Tech, I'm going to have them meeting in the Elite Eight. I want to flip a coin, but I am going to go Gators. Florida to the Final Four. That's my pick. Mac, who do you have in the Final Four out of this bracket?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because it's out west in that regional here. I will go with Texas Tech to beat Maryland in the Elite Eight matchup. I think Maryland picks off Florida with that starting 5, and I think Texas Tech gets by the Johnnies because they're a better team up and down on that roster. So I think Texas Tech, Maryland, Elite Eight, give me Wreckham to get to San Antonio.
All righty. Huffer, your Final Four pick out of this region.
I will go St. John's here. I trust St. John's defense, and I think we see some magic from some blue blood Hall of Fame coaches as well, too. I guess not really St. John's the blue blood, but you know what I mean, with these coaches that are dominant. And we see some magic from Pitino. Pitino magic in March is back, and they make a little run. I like this Maryland pick as well. So I'll have St. John's beating Maryland in the Elite Eight, and that they can hang down low in the interior and kind of muck up these games and win, some grind out games that St. John's does with their defense and going on these random runs that they do as well too in the game. So give me the Johnnies here on their defense out of the 2 seed in the West.
McMillan and Williams are back, by the way, everybody, for the
team.
Yeah, they sat for the NCAA tournament. They're fully
Texas Tech too. They're battle tested without him. They've been battling injuries the entire season, and they're still a 3 seed in here. So they, unlike Iowa State, played just as good without some of their starting pieces this season. Is what I'll say about the Red Raiders. Capper, out of the Midwest.
I've got this is the chalkiest side of the bracket by far. I think we're gonna have Florida face off against St. John's, and I've got Florida winning it. I ride with Bieniek, chomp chomp. The Gators are a team on a mission this year. Simply put, if I hate to, I hate to be accused of dick riding with Noah, but if you had to pick a team in this bracket that is most likely just to like run through it, like win every game by 15, it's got to be the Gators. I'm sorry, they can. I feel like they're a great matchup for just about any style. They can shoot the lights out, great offense, clamps on defense. If I had to pick anything that was most similar to the UConn runs that we're seeing, it's probably the Gators. So, and you can call me whatever you want. That's just how I feel. It's how I'm coming at it. So I'm riding with Bieniek on Florida. Chomp chomp. Let's get it.
All right. We currently just surpassed 2,500 total viewers on all platforms. Very much appreciate you guys join us on Selection Sunday here as we run through our instant reaction and analysis from the bracket being revealed. Go ahead and hit that follow button, whether if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter or Twitch. Hit subscribe for us as well. It helps a ton. There will be plenty of other content coming your way throughout this week. This is going to be the only show of the night, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all throughout this week, we are going to be peppering that inbox with videos. We move to the top right portion of the bracket, the East, where Duke is the 1 seed. I have Duke coming out of this bracket. I just think that it's the softest region, and the Blue Devils kind of got lucky and kind of got treated like, Duke kind of gets treated. So I'm going to take the Blue Devils in my instant reaction Final Four. Mac?
I am going to go out on a bold take, and this is going to be the region that blows up. This is going to blow up. It's always the region that's the easiest cakewalk. It should be Duke, Alabama in the Elite Eight. No. This is going to be the one that has upset after upset, and you're going to get like a 7-4 in the Elite Eight. Give me Randy Bennett and the St. Mary's Gales in the bottom half to take on Dana Altman and Oregon Ducks here in the Elite Eight. And the Gales go to the first Final Four. This is the chaotic region. Give me St. Mary's. Let's go.
That's a fantastic play to get a future on, I feel like.
Always one region that's crazy. This is going to be the one. Everybody says this is going to be chalk. No chalk here.
That's a great one to get a future on.
I can't wait till Duke shits the bed. It's going to be so good.
I really wanted to co-sign on St. Mary's. I love that play. I'll probably grab a future on that. But the one that I like the best to come out of this region, give me Wisconsin. I like their path. I don't love that they started at elevation. Potentially have to play Montana and BYU up high. I think they'll get through it. And then I like them to beat Alabama. I think they can get past that, assuming Robert Morris doesn't take care of them first. And then the matchup in at the top half, it's going to be Duke in the Elite Eight, just because it's just such an easy path. But I like the battle-tested Wisconsin team to avenge their loss in the Big Ten title. Give me the Badgers to make the Final Four in this one.
Huffer, this is the East region Final Four team for you.
Yeah, I'm going to take a stab here as well too, and I don't expect Duke to be this chalk easy pick. And I'm gonna ride with this Big Ten team. Give me the Oregon Ducks and Dana Altman. This is going to be that surprise team. Oregon early in the year, they beat Alabama, they beat San Diego State, they beat Texas A&M. They're capable of beating good teams with different playing styles as well. I feel like they can match up against anyone, and they ended the season on a high note. I know they looked like crap against Michigan State. Michigan State's a far superior team, but I like this Oregon Ducks team. The way they match up, they space the floor well, and they got shooters on the inside, shooters on the outside, and I like their guard play and Biddle as well too down low, and he can flash out. So I'll take the Oregon Ducks and Dana Altman. Let's try to get this Big Ten championship back after 2000. So I don't know if we'll claim Oregon, I guess, but we have to now. So,
all right. And then the bottom right portion of the bracket, the Midwest region. Mac, who do you have coming out of this one and go into the Final Four?
The best team in the country, Houston. I don't care that they got screwed. They're getting through this. They have everybody coming back from last year's heartbreak, minus Jamal Shebb, but Uzon is in there. Best defensive team in the country. Got 3 guards that can make 40% plus on threes. Give me these Cougs of Houston to get done, and then get to San Antonio, where that's going to be a nice little draw for them, being in the home state of Texas. So yeah, give me the Cougs to get it done over Rick Barnes. I think that'll be a fun Elite Eight game. 2 experienced Hall of Fame coaches, Cougs over Vols in the Elite Eight.
My pick is Clemson to get out of the Midwest region into the Final Four. I think Houston loses to another ACC team in the Sweet 16. I think this Clemson team is better than their Elite Eight team from last year. PJ Hall was the star of that team, but always kind of found his way into foul trouble. This year, their rim protector is Victor Locken, and I love that. And Ian Shefflin has been a stud in that front court, and they've got a really good trio of guards as well, and Chase Hunter, Jaden Zachary, and Chauncey Wiggins. The defense is better because, last year they did have Joe Girard as a deadeye, but defensively he was a little lacking. This year, I think Clemson has the squad. They have the tournament experience from last year. This year, though, they have all the right pieces, in my opinion. Give me the Tigers. And Avetta co-signs it as well. Let's go. Huffer, who do you like out of the Midwest region for your Final Four?
I'm going to co-sign with Mac here and get Houston. I like what this Houston team has done, and they've been considerably. They made a Final Four in Indianapolis, the one that was all over Indianapolis here, and they haven't been back since. They played in tough Sweet 16 games last year against Duke, Miami, Florida versus that when Miami made a run. I think pound for pound, Houston's been able to prove that they're capable. They haven't lost since February 1st, and they lost in an overtime game. And it's a favorable draw for them, considering I like the upsets on the 12-13 matchup. I think it's a path to the Elite Eight, which only makes sense for me to pick Houston. And whatever happens on the bottom happens on the bottom of that bracket, like we talked about. And I'm definitely not going to pick Tennessee here, so I will get chalky and have this be my only 1 seed to make the Final Four. Give me Houston.
Okay.
Capper, wrap it up. Who's your Final Four team out of this region?
I'm co-signing with my 2 friends. Give me Houston to get out of this bracket. The only potential landmine is that potential second round matchup with Gonzaga, which they might not even have to face. Other than that, it's a really clear path, all throughout. And whatever. And again, to Huffer's point, the bottom half of that bracket is a mess. So I think they get out of it. I think they get into the Final Four. It's probably one of the easier paths that you'll see here, in my opinion.
All right, just for clip's sake, okay? Instant reaction, Final Four. We are allowed to change these, by the way. This is instant reaction right off the cuff. We just saw the bracket come out. My Final Four, I have a reimagined version of the 2024 College World Series, SEC versus ACC. Give me Auburn and Florida in semifinal number 1. I think both of those teams are super balanced. I've loved them the entire season, offensively and defensively. I think they're both elite teams. I think Duke got the softest region. I think Duke gets to the Final Four down in San Antonio, and I think they play Clemson. Clemson is my dark horse Final Four team. Right after I saw the bracket, I like the Tigers' path if they can just get past Houston. So Auburn over Florida, or Auburn and Florida, Duke, Clemson. I am going to take Florida to beat Auburn. I am going to take Duke to beat Clemson. Florida, national championship pick. Let's go Gators. Mac, template, simple enough. You want to go ahead?
All right, so we're picking the
I was going to ask the same thing. Sorry.
Hold on, let me write this shit down. Hold on.
I told you guys to be ready.
I know. I'm ready. All right. I didn't know that.
I thought you were just running through your reasons of picking it.
I was like, holy shit! What do I do?
Hold on, let me get the regions correct first.
Okay.
I'll give you your clip. So it goes. I'm writing this part down. I know what the South is in the top left. There we go. This is feel like I'm back in school. Carry the 1. Okay, nice.
South against Midwest, and then the East against the Midwest.
Oh, wait. No, you said it wrong.
No, he said it right.
Oh, you did say it right. I lied. I apologize.
All right. I got you, Bieniek, and that one's going to be Sparty. This one's going to be Tech. You guys are going to like my notes here that I got. And then St.
All right,
Mary's.
Mac. So instant reaction, Final Four. You are allowed to change these picks, but right after seeing the bracket,
Look
who
at
do you
this.
think is making the Final Four?
Detailed notes here, baby. That is how you break down the bracket. You put the South in the top left. You put the West in the bottom left. East and Midwest. I'm good to go. Yes, dumbass proof over here on the college experience. All right. I will kick it off here in the top left region. In the South, I got the Hall of Famer, Sparty, Tom Izzo. I've loved this team all year long. We know the Izzo track record. I think they come out of this region in Atlanta and get it done over the Auburn Tigers in the Elite Eight. Moving over to the East region, I think this is going to be the chaotic region. I think everybody thinks it's going to go chalk. I completely disagree. I like Randy Bennett and the St. Mary's Gales. They've had some tough early bounces in recent tournaments. I think that they're more experienced this year. They're better defensively, and I think they're better offensively as well. So give me the Gales to beat Oregon in the Elite Eight in the Newark East Regional and advance to the Final Four. Down there in the Midwest, I have the Houston Cougars getting revenge on last year's heartbreak. That one's going to be in Indianapolis. I got a battle of Hall of Famers here. I got Houston beating Tennessee in that Elite Eight game, which I think would be a football match that everybody would enjoy watching. And then in the fourth region, the bottom left, that is the West region in San Francisco. I got Texas Tech, guns up, getting it done over the Maryland Terrapins. I think that this would be a classic as well. Maryland with that great starting five. Texas Tech, when healthy, arguably the best team in the Big 12. So to recap, Sparty, St. Mary's, Houston, Texas Tech, Final Four. 2 Big 12 teams, I may add. Everybody's sleeping on this league all year. Let's go to the Final Four. We got Sparty taking on Texas Tech. I got Izzo and company getting revenge from the 2019 Final Four in Minneapolis. I think Sparty gets it done with those guards. Izzo back to the championship game for the first time since, I believe, 2009. And then I got Houston beating St. Mary's to set up a Kelvin Sampson versus Tom Izzo national championship Monday night and a complete revenge tour. The Houston Cougars are going to cut down the nets in San Antonio, and Kelvin Sampson is going to get that national championship. Go Cougs.
Huffer, go ahead with your instant reaction, Final Four.
We can change them, you said. Yeah, I had Michigan State coming out of that region and beating Maryland. And then Michigan State will be playing St. John's in a Pitino-Izzo Final Four matchup. That just sounds like a dream that I want to happen. So I will take those two in the Final Four. And then I took Dana Altman and Oregon with two Big Ten teams, getting out of that top right region, I believe the East region against Duke. And then also I have Houston coming out of the Midwest region. I think it's a fair bracket for them. And like I said, with that bottom half being so chaotic and volatile, I think we will see an upset. So I will have the same championship, Michigan State versus Houston as well. I think it's a great matchup, but I will take the reverse, and Big Ten gets their first championship back. 25 years later, Michigan won it in 2000 with Mateen Cleaves. Izzo had a monumental season, broke the Big Ten win record. I think he wants to keep it up and ride high, and this is his best chance that he's had in the last few years. And I think he realized that there's not many of these chances left. I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. But man, you win one, you may have a chance to ride off in the sunset in your last few years of being probably the best coach that I've witnessed growing up, outside of maybe a couple. So give me Tom Izzo winning this tournament, cutting the nets down, and this Michigan State team brings it home. Go Sparty.
Mac, any regrets picking Houston to win it all? Zach says that's his national championship pick.
Zach, you are a smart man for once in your life. We will celebrate together.
Oh no, worlds colliding.
Hey, I will say the last two times a Big 12 team has had one loss or less, they've won the national championship. Kansas in 22, and Baylor in 2021, and then Baylor and Kansas both only had one loss in 2020. There was no tournament. So Big 12 still the dominant brand league in America.
When was the last time the Big 12 didn't do a round robin schedule?
Last year.
Did a Big 12 team win it last year?
Well, nobody had one loss. Houston had 3 losses.
Yeah, was one of the one-loss teams not in a round-robin Big 12 schedule?
Well, they had 3 losses last year.
Yeah, I know. One of the one-loss or less teams from the Big 12, did they play a round-robin schedule? Yes, right? What if you dodged some of the better teams from the Big 12 in the non-round-robin schedule?
I don't know if they dodged. I don't think Houston dodged the teams. I just think that they were the beneficiary of drawing teams when they were injured this year. But they were injured too at the end. I like the Cougs, man. I like Kelvin Sampson and the grit and toughness. And after that BS way that they lost to Duke last year with Shed blowing out his ankle in the first half, it's a revenge tour like Florida today with the SEC. It's a revenge tour for Houston to win it this March.
All right. Capper, your Final Four. Go ahead. Instant reaction. You are allowed to change these throughout the week, but your Final Four.
Okay. Starting in the South, I'm going to ride with Michigan State to get past Auburn. I love their guard play. I love their coach. I love that they got the win one for Tom. Send him out with a nice gold watch as a potential Final Four team. So I absolutely love this spot for Sparty. I think they get out of the South. Heading over to the West. This is one of the chalkier regions I see here. I love this for Florida. I think we see an epic tournament run from them. They look like a team on a mission in the SEC tournament. I think that carries over to the big dance. I love Florida to run through the side of the bracket. On the East, this is one of the more chaotic sides that I see. I do think it is set up for Duke at the top, but at the bottom, I like Wisconsin coming out, and I like them to get past Duke. I think they're a bit tougher. I think they can score, and I think they've got experience. Those are all 3 areas that I feel Duke might be a little bit lacking in the soft-ass ACC schedule this year. So I love Wisconsin to come out of that side of the bracket. And in the Midwest, again, I think this is set up for a great Houston run. They've got the one potential landmine with Gonzaga, but after that, the rest of this bracket could be absolute chaos. And I kind of like them to kind of slide their way through the chaos, work their way through the Elite Eight, and get all the way to the Final Four. So I've got Sparty versus Florida and Wisconsin versus Houston, setting up for an epic Florida versus Houston final. It's chomp chomp, baby. Give me the Gators to win the Natty. Let's go.
There we go. And everybody's favorite section of the show. We've done this now. It's going to be 4 years in a row during the bracket reaction show. Our Final Four without the 1 through 4 seeds. So 1 through 4 seeds are excluded in these Final Four picks. We're each going to do the exact same thing. Try to go a little bit quicker this time. We won't do as much analysis when we're going through these slides and figuring out which teams we're going to do. You can kind of state your reasoning at the end when we list off all 4 teams. But for the sake of running through this, the South region, the non-1 through 4 seed that you think has the best chance of getting to the Final Four, Mac.
South region, I will say the best I think to get to the Final Four would be New Mexico because of Donovan Dent. And they have size in the front court. I think they're a high variance team that could go on a run. So give me the Lobos if I had to pick a higher than 4 seed.
My team, I've made it pretty well known that it's going to be UC San Diego to be in the Final Four. If I can't choose a 1 through 4 seed in this region. Huffer, do you have a team?
Yeah, I was going back and forth on New Mexico, but I ended up settling on Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss here. I think that Chris Beard has proven that he can work a roster in March. And Ole Miss did end the season somewhat on a high note. They're physical enough that they can play with Iowa State, I think, even offensively. So, yeah, give me Ole Miss to come out of this bracket.
Okay.
Capper.
Give me Louisville.
All right.
Love it.
Then we've got I like the short and sweet too.
Well, I just think they're underseeded, and I think Auburn's beatable. I do. I think that we've seen them struggle in the last in the last week or so in the SEC tournament and the end of the SEC schedule. So I think you've got a beatable Auburn team versus an underseeded Louisville team is my thought process.
the bottom left portion of the bracket, the West region. The team outside of the 1 through 4 seeds that you think has the best chance of getting to the Final Four, Mac.
Kansas.
Wow!
Mind blown.
They're not playing at the Fog, Mac.
Hall of Fame coach, preseason #1. Maybe they can put it together for 4 games. I mean, they're going to beat Arkansas. I see everybody picking Arkansas. Kansas will beat Arkansas because Calipari chokes in March. And then can they beat St. John's? I don't know. Probably not. But, I mean, it's Kansas. They got the better roster. They got size. Yeah, give me Kansas.
I am going to go with Colorado State. I think they can get to the Sweet 16 if they can knock off Memphis. And then I have Grand Canyon losing to Maryland. Maryland 4-5, 4-12 matchup there. I think that could go either way. I think the Rams are playing really good ball to finish out the regular season here. I think they're one of the hotter teams in the country. I think the Rams have a shot. This region, though, is extremely tough. Plenty of good programs here to go around. So, Capper, your Final Four prediction team that you think has the best chance of getting there outside of the 1 through 4 seeds.
I'm going to co-sign in Colorado State. That's what I had written down like right before we did this segment. So that's what I'm going to roll with here. I do think they have a really clear path to a Sweet 16, and then after that, could UConn or Oklahoma pick off Florida? Could they beat Florida? Yeah, maybe. So I do think that they've got a path where I could logically I can kind of put the path together for them with a couple ifs and buts. So
yeah,
I'll co-sign on Colorado State. Ram it.
And Nick Clifford has been one of the better guards to finish the regular season as well here. Huffer, your pick.
Yep. I wanted to take Drake. Just don't think they're going to be physical enough against the Texas Tech team and on the bottom half. So I'm going to go with UConn here. I don't care. I will jump on the evil villain side and take UConn. And we've done it before in March. If I had to pick a high-seeded team to make a run, I'll take UConn pulling the upset and being like, oh, we were always underestimated all year and stuff like that. So give me Hurley.
All right, so UConn and Kansas were like preseason 1-2. Who has a better chance to go to the Final Four, Kansas or UConn? Bieniek and Cap, you guys didn't pick either. Who would you pick?
Kansas, probably.
I would go UConn.
Hilarious, right down the middle. And everybody's reaction is the same. Yeah.
That'd be the most funny Elite Eight matchup of this entire bracket if it was those two.
Then everybody doing the preseason rankings would be like, we were right. We knew these teams had it.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
I've talked myself into it. Kansas to the Sweet 16. They're beating the Johnnies, too. Upset. Let's go.
Oh, no.
God.
All right. We've got the East region. The team outside of the 1 through 4 seeds that you think has the best shot to get to the Final Four.
We already know Max.
Yeah, St. Mary's. It would be Baylor if they didn't have to play Duke. I would have said Baylor, but I don't know how they match up with Duke. I've talked about how I think Baylor, from a multiple guys at the guard position that can go get a bucket, they kind of remind me of Miami a couple of years ago with O'Meara in the middle. But I don't know if they have enough to beat Duke. I'll keep St. Mary's. Just because that is my actual pick. So, yeah, give me that defense and culture to finally break through.
I'm going to go Oregon. I mentioned it at the top of the show as well when we were doing the bracket by bracket, reactions. This team was really good in the non-conference. First time through the Big Ten gauntlet, and they didn't quite fit the mold of other Big Ten teams. I think once they get the breath of fresh air outside of conference, they'll be able to make a little bit of a run again. I like the Ducks to get to the Final Four if I can't choose a 1 through 4 seed. Huffer.
I had Oregon in my Final Four without even having to pick a non 1 through 4 seed. So I will ride with that and keep the Ducks on the 5 seed there, getting it done in that region.
Okay.
Capper.
I'll go VCU. Defense and culture, I think, could win the bottom half of that bracket. And if they can, if I don't love the matchup for them with Duke, but they have a puncher's chance in it. If they could, clamp them up on offense a little bit and manage to score a few buckets, build up a lead. Why not? I could see them get out, get out ahead of Duke. So I'll ride with VCU. Give me the 11 seed.
They got some magic in March too.
Yeah.
VCU does.
We've seen it before.
Plenty of it. Bottom right portion, the last quadrant here, the Midwest region. A team that is not a 1 through 4 seed that you think has the best chance to get to the Final Four.
No one has a chance of beating Houston,
says Mac.
Hey, baby. It might be Gonzaga. They can get by Houston. They can fucking. I mean, if they get by Houston, they're going to win the damn region. They've gone to 9 straight Sweet 16 or 10. But I think the streak does finally end this year. Let me take a peek back at the bottom half. If I had to pick, give me Illinois as a crazy high variance team. If they make a bunch of threes, maybe they could get hot. At their best, we've seen them really good, but I could see them, and I've already laid out the case why I'm going to pick against them in the round of 64. But if you're telling me I got to pick somebody higher than a 4 seed, I think Illinois is actually a pretty good candidate.
All right. My candidate was the team that I actually picked to get to the Final Four, and that's Clemson. Capper.
Okay.
Who's your team that's not a 1 through 4 seed that you think could get through the Midwest region?
Okay, I'm gonna go for a deep cut here. Give me Troy.
Troy.
Okay. Why not? Okay, first off, they've got an eminently winnable matchup against Kentucky in that first round. Okay, second round again, it's Illinois or Texas or Xavier. Again, eminently winnable. Okay, so now we've made it to the Sweet 16. Who says Tennessee makes it out of the bottom half of that section? I don't. It could be Utah State, it could be UCLA. So you've got like a Troy versus UCLA or a Troy versus Utah State matchup. That's unwinnable. I don't think so. And now the heavyweight fight, Troy versus it takes us to Elite Eight, correct? Yeah. Troy versus Houston, the Elite Eight.
They've got a puncher's chance.
Again, puncher's chance. Why not? They can clamp on defense, so it would be an absolute rock fight. I mean, we're talking like a 55-54 final, but why not? They're not terrible at making free throws. They're not terrible from I guess they're not a great 3-point shooting team, but okay, they can try to score down low. Why not? So yeah, I'll ride with Troy. I like them as, again, we're looking for like a super long shot, and this is the side of the this is the bracket that I feel is going to be the side of the bracket I feel is going to be most chaotic. So yeah, I'll ride with Troy. I'm talking myself into this. Why not?
All right. Before we wrap it up, I want to get everybody just to be able to run through their picks one more time on the non 1 through 4 seeds that you think have the best chance to get to the Final Four from each region. For me, I'm going to take the UC San Diego Tritons. I think they've been really good all season long. They're 30-4 for a reason. They've got a really good duo of guards there in Magai and Tate Jones. I'm going to take Colorado State. I think they're one of the hottest teams to finish the regular season and conference tournament, and Nick Clifford is playing like one of the best teams in the country. I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks. I feel really confident about the Ducks' performances in the non-conference prior to getting into the Big Ten. It'll be a breath of fresh air as they didn't really kind of fit the conference's mold first year through the run. Give me Dana Altman. He's done it before in the NCAA tournament, made a little bit of a run. I think he could get to the Final Four. And then a team that I think can get to the Final Four is Clemson. I'll take the Tigers. Last year they went to the Elite Eight. This year they have a lot of the same guys. They added Victor Locken in the post to really kind of beef up their rim protection. Chase Hunter, Ian Shefflin. I think that's a great duo there. So give me Clemson as the final team. Mac, your Final Four excluding 1 through 4 seeds.
Yeah, all right. I got my region story.
Sorry, guys.
Shit, who did I pick? Oh, just kidding. I took the Lobos in the top left region, the South region in Atlanta. Donovan Dent, and they remember last year's heartbreak where they kind of got embarrassed against Clemson. So I like that. I like the guards there. I like the size. Pitino's a better coach because of the disappointment. Over there in the East region, I picked St. Mary's, same as my real pick. Why not pick him as my sleeper? I mentioned it, man. The experience, Randy Bennett, and they've been knocking on the doors. A really good program. We've seen San Diego State and Gonzaga break this down. I think the Gales could be the one that break it down this year. So give me the Gales there. And then in the bottom Midwest region, Illinois fits kind of the profile Noah was making it out to be earlier, where a team that looked really good at one point this year, but then got the flu bug or whatever the hell happened to them. Well, at their best, they've been really, really good. I think that they started playing better down the stretch, winning 4 out of 5. Illinois could be a team that could go on a deep run and get to a Final Four. And then in the final region, the West region, I took none other than preseason number 1 and a current, actually, Hall of Fame coach, Bill Self, and the Kansas Jayhawks as my sleeper, because why not? I mean, they're preseason number 1. They got talent. Maybe Bill Self can put some magic, maybe throw out a zone to hide some of those defensive deficiencies, and they can make some perimeter shots in March. So give me the Jayhawks in the West region.
Yeah. For the South, I took Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss will get it done. I think that they're a dangerous team physically. They played in the toughest conference supposedly all season. It's they had a 500 record all season, so it was tough. Yeah, I like Chris Beard in March. I'll take Chris Beard in March all day. And then I took UConn in the West, kind of battling with Mac on the Kansas. It'll be fun if we see UConn Kansas in the Elite Eight. So give me Hurley in the matchup there. And then in the East, I took Oregon with Dana Altman. I like Dana Altman as a coach, and I think that they got a high-powered offense and a decent defense as well too that can hang around against these tough teams in the top half of the bracket. And then in the Midwest, I know you skipped me again. Just giving you a hard time though. No one needs to hear about my take on why UCLA makes it out of the Midwest bracket. And we see a random run from a team that no one would really expect and that people were down on before they made that kind of run in the Big Ten, winning like 8 in a row. But I like them with Mara. I like their guard play as well. They're a little young. They're a lot of juniors and sophomores, but I think Cronin can get these pieces together and show some magic in March when you least expect it, especially when you got Rick Barnes next in the round of 32. So.
Sorry again, Huffer. You got to interrupt me on that.
I know. It's okay. I was just like, I'll just give it out. It's fine. I'll just messing.
Capper, go ahead and put the cap on it for us.
Okay. All right. As for my long shots, out of the South region, give me a Louisville. I think they're an underseeded team as an 8 seed, and I don't mind their path if they can get past Auburn. So I think again, that roster, it matches up well against just about any team in the tournament. And given they're seeding their position, I really like. I would like them as a to come out of the South as an underseeded 8 seed. In the west side of the bracket, I'm gonna ride with Colorado State. Again, Nick Clifford has been a freaking bucket. He fills up the stat sheet up, just about every night that he plays, and this is a side of the bracket where we could get some chaos. I do like the matchups that they could follow through. I think they have a pretty clear path to a Sweet 16, and then beyond that, they've got a puncher's chance to make it to a Final Four. In the East, I'm going to roll with VCU as my underdog play. It's coaching, it's culture, it's defense, and all those things tend to play well in March. Plus, we've seen VCU with the March Magic before. I think they've got a path to a Sweet 16, and then after that, they've got 2 beatable teams in Alabama and potentially a beatable team in Duke. I think somebody's going to clip Duke at some point. It might as well be VCU. Out of the Midwest, this is where I'm getting. I'm going out in the biggest limb here. I'm going to ride with the 14 seed Troy. I think Kentucky's on upset alert. In every game they play in this tournament, and the way the way I have it breaking down is it's just going to be the one game. So I think Troy is going to clip Kentucky early in this one. After that, they've got the winner of Illinois or Texas or Xavier. That's a winnable game. So again, I see a clear path to a Sweet 16. And then after that, is it a guarantee that they play Tennessee in the next round? Not necessarily. I think they can make it to an Elite Eight, and they're going to find Houston sitting there, and they've got a puncher's chance to get past Houston. I think they've got clamps on defense, and they can do enough on the inside on offense to potentially win an absolute rock fight. So give me Troy as my underdog play to make it out of the Midwest Sun.
And that's going to wrap up today's episode, reacting to the bracket being unveiled, giving out some, instant picks. I would say I remember last year I changed a Final Four pick. It doesn't happen a ton, but we have done it in the past. So make sure you stay tuned because we are going to be adding a shitload of content throughout this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and throughout the NCAA tournament with plenty of picks. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow button, wherever you're listening to this on podcast platforms, or whether it be social media. We had over 2,800 of you tune in tonight. Very grateful for you guys doing that. And there was over 700 watching live on YouTube. We want you to go over and tune into the Sports Gambling Podcast episode that they're about to record. Colby is in Los Angeles right now. The reason why he was not on today's show, he was flying from North Carolina to LA. He's doing the SGP show tonight. Then he's going also to Vegas for that rhythm party as well. He will be on the content with us Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, I believe is his schedule. We will be doing Thursday's games picks tomorrow night. We will be doing Friday's games picks Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, we'll be doing Saturday. Friday night, we'll be doing Sunday's picks. That's kind of the schedule. Mac and I are going to be filling in the cracks with some other fun ideas in between. And I have my work cut out for me the entire week, clipping up this episode of all of our fun takes and everything else in between. So thank you all.
No, I'm sorry. Before we sign off, something just broke that's actually kind of hilarious. They released the CBI and NIT brackets. UC Riverside is apparently in both.
Are they playing at the same time?
I don't think they're going to play in both.
Well, they also have that. I saw that West Virginia is not in the NIT. I'm wondering if they are in the
Crown.
The Crown.
They're
going to play. They're going to play for money, which, I mean,
good for you'll make a few bucks. But I just thought it was hilarious that they've got the.
That's one way to motivate your team when you've got completely screwed. I mean, play for some cash.
Thank you all for tuning in. Go ahead and follow the entire cast from tonight at Cannabis Capper if you're looking for more of Matt Dewoskin's work. Michael Huffer is on Twitter at Michael_Huffer3. Moneyline Mac. It's simple. Moneyline_Mac. That's Ryan McIntyre. You can find all of his West Virginia rant content throughout the week. Him and Rush on Ryan and Rush will be going deep into the decision there. And also he does great stuff on here on the College Basketball Experience, but follow him very much so. And then you can follow me, Noah Bieniek, at NoahB77_. This has been the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we are out of here.